What was your favorite age? God. What was my favorite age? Probably 26 or 27. I think that's been my favorite age so far. Yeah. 20. No, I'm 27 right now. Am I 28? Guys, how old am I? I always say how old I am. Am I 28 right now? I'm pretty sure I'm 28. You guys should know. I different. No, it's hard to say because like every moment has like different ups and downs. Though if I could, like the thing I wish I could do is I wish I could go back to being like 18 with what I know now. I'd fucking crush adulthood so bad. Like if I was 18 and knowing everything I know now, dude, I'd so crush it. Come back here, I'll save you, Mr. Rogers. And I'd reinvent the meta of TF2 before it even started. Sig, would you crush it like this cosplay, Sig? Are you? What is this? I don't even know if I should click on this. Oh yeah, that beautiful thing. I was crushing it that day. That's actually I kind of like the video I made to that. It's on YouTube on my side of sigafoo account or whatever. Literally one flame. I'm just trying to extinguish people. Sigafoo, what kind of stuff would you do differently if you're at that age that, generally speaking, if you're okay with sharing? No, absolutely. I mean, there's very few things that I'm not comfortable sharing, like, on my stream with you guys. So feel free to ask me, like, whatever. I'll try to answer it if I mean, as long as you're, like, not trolling, like, you know, whatever his face was. But, what I do differently is, honestly, I would just, like, so from the age of 23 to 20... So, basically, kind of like what happened in my life is I was with this girl when I was, what's it called? Die? No! Fuck! So I was with this girl when I was 21, 22. I guess like 22 to 23. Or 22 to 24. Somewhere in that range I was with her. And she was, so I was in this relationship prior, so the relationship prior to that, I was with this girl for a year and a half. And that was, like, it was an abusive relationship that I was in. And it really kind of fucked and skewed my views of, like, what a relationship should be and how I handled myself in a relationship. Like, it was really bad. And I didn't really realize how much it affected how I handled relationships until, like, years later. Like, 3-4 years later, until I was like, oh, hey, all that stuff that happened to me, that seemed to actually have, like, a deep-seated, like, root inside me and actually, like, really kind of skewed, like, everything, the way I kind of, like, handled relationships and stuff like that. And so when I was with that girl, like, she was, like, really wonderful in a lot of ways. Like, ultimately, we didn't work out because we're not together today. But the thing I realized is, like, so growing up, my parents weren't very social. And so as kind of a thing, it's like you kind of tend to mimic the environment around you. And so I wasn't very social myself. And so I never developed any real social skills. Like, I was a friendly guy and I had friends and stuff like that. But at the same time, I was not very social. And so kind of with that, because I never developed any social skills and because my parents never displayed any social skills for me to pick up, I really lacked all of that stuff. And so basically kind of like I was in this relationship with this kind of wonderful person at the time, but then it all kind of fizzled, and kind of part of it was the fact that I couldn't handle myself in the relationship. One, because I was just in a really bad relationship and that fucked me up, but two, because like socially I was like so inept. And I was like, I would just be a jackass, or I'd be an asshole, but I had no way to like self-reflect or look at what I was doing and stuff like that. And so it really, I mean, it really fucked me over. And I mean, even just like having conversations with people, like just normal conversations with people in life, like it's like I would dominate the conversations, you know, and I wouldn't be aware of like that I'm talking too much, or, you know, what's it called? Hi, come on, there we go. But yeah, and like stuff like that, you know. And so I really wish, you know, I knew that stuff, and I really wish, I mean, if I could, I would like teach myself that, like, back when I was in like fucking high school. I mean, like, it's just such a useful skill set. And so I've always kind of been kind of more of a solo person because of this, because I grew up not needing anybody or needing to need anybody, but that also kind of fucked me over too when it came to relationships and stuff like that, and because I don't know, and I kind of looked at the world in black and white, you know, and the world isn't. Like, it's really easy to say, like, I would do this or I would do that in the, you know, people, a certain situation, but you wouldn't, right? Like, you're not in their shoes. You don't know what it's like, and you don't have their upbringing, so how can you say that, right? But I used to be, like, very judgmental of other people, and, like, very kind of, like, looking down on other people, you know, because I'm like, oh, well, you're doing this thing which is inefficient, you know? So, like, that's, I mean, that's kind of like a long-winded thing, but it's like, that's kind of like what I would change, is to, like, teach myself all of that. Like, all of the things that I had to, like, teach myself, like, the shit that should have just, like, I should have just known, you know, if I actually had, like, parents, you know, like, there's just a lot of things that could just, like, switch to my situation. And it just was, but it's been good, because I've had to have, like, such difficult self-reflection in order to learn all this stuff. I've ultimately also become a better person because of it, because I'm very aware of my surroundings and who I am and how I carry myself, which ultimately is generally a good thing. Generally. Sig, what do you think it's wrong being alone if you want to be that way? Oh, there's nothing wrong with being alone at all. I prefer to be, like, I don't have a lot of friends. I don't prefer to be, like, crazy extroverted and stuff like that. But also, having the skill set to be extroverted is, like, incredibly useful. The fact that, you know, what is thing to say is, like, that you can, like, be like, oh, yeah, we can, you know, your partner wants to bring you to a party, and you're, like, comfortable with the fact, and you can go to the party and handle yourself, like, totally fine. Like, that's actually, like, a really good skill set to have. So, yeah, I mean, like, that's kind of it, is it's, like, you don't have to, not everybody in the world has to be extroverted, but being able to have those skills is incredibly useful. Because even, like, when you go to job interviews, or you're going on a first date, or, I mean, there's just every single point in life, having that skills, even if you don't want to use them all the time, having those skills are incredibly useful, you know? And, like, that's the thing I really learned. Sigafoo streaming full-time would be amazing, to be honest. Well, I think so, too. You know, I probably would do it before I'm, like, really secure, and it's very possible that it might fail. I'm not expecting it to succeed, you know? But sometimes, like, you just need to take a risk in life and be comfortable that you are taking a risk in life and that everything's may not be perfect, but that's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes it's better just to know rather than to sit there. And that's kind of the way I kind of handle my relationships now, is it's really important for me to put, like, everything I have when I'm with somebody, to, like, do everything I can to be, like, the best partner possible because of the experiences I've had. Because the thing that eats me up inside is, like, regret, and I can't handle regret, and it's like, it takes me a long time if I like, really fuck up. But the thing is that if you, like, are good and you have good communication, stuff like that, you won't have regret, because you will do everything you could have done in a situation. And so, like, I think kind of with the streaming stuff is I think I've kind of regretted not going full tilt at it, and kind of focusing more on my job. And there's been a couple opportunities in my life for me to actually go as a YouTube, like, to do the YouTube thing and stuff like that, and I've always regretted not going for it. And I'm kind of realizing that I might be at, like, the last leg, because there's a good chance that my next relationship, if I do get into one, will be a more serious one, and it'll be one that I probably, you know, like, it'll be one that maybe they want to have kids, you know, I'll be 28, and, you know, you don't want to wait too long to have kids. If, I don't even know if I want to have kids, to be completely honest, but if I do have kids, you know, then they wouldn't want to wait that long, right? So it's like all these different things. So it's like, this is kind of like the perfect timing for it, you know? So anyways, that's kind of like, so we'll see, but we'll see. I mean, this is all talk right now. Like, I'm talking, it's very easy to say things. The hard thing is doing, you know? And I'll just say this, is that this is just, like, one of the best things to do, and this has been very true for my life as it is coming into New Year's. Because I go to the gym and stuff like that, and after New Year's, it's fucking awful for, like, 2 weeks because there's so many people. And this is incredibly true. If you want to do something, I'm going to do, like, super real talk for, like, 30 seconds here. If you want to make a real change in your life, if you actually want to do something in your life, this is what you do. You do two things, right? If change in your life is only going to happen because a date on a calendar, you're not going to make that fucking change. If you're waiting to change something because it's magically January 1st and you're magically going to get the motivation to change, you're not going to fucking change. If you want to actually change your life, actively change your life, which is a big thing because there's passive change and active change. To active change, that means you have to put in a lot of effort and it hurts and it sucks, but there's willpower and you do it. If you want to actively change your life for the better, a date on the calendar isn't going to make a fucking difference. You know what it is? Right now. You change your life right now. You make the decision that right now I'm going to make the change. Not a week from now when it's January 1st. You do it right now. And here's the second thing that comes with that is you don't tell anybody. Actually telling people about you wanting to make a change actually makes it that you get that positive endorphin rush. This is true. Like scientific studies have proven this. Like you get that rush as if you did it. So don't tell anybody that you're doing it and just start fucking doing it. Tell people after you've done it and then you'll make change. Like seriously. Because honestly, that works so much for you. It's like whenever I'm like, oh, well, maybe I'll do it in the future, you know, I never fucking do it. And so that's why I'm like, I kind of take all of this, like, real talk with a grain of salt, because, like, it's easy as fuck to say shit. So, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm kind of being hypocritical here because I'm kind of talking down the very thing I'm doing. You know, so that's why I'm kind of trying to be, like, a balance here of, like, you know, I understand I'm just saying words right now. The thing that actually matters is when I do. So there you go. There's a lot of real talk. As I said, I'm not, like, that's the thing with me. And this is, I used to be, like, much more, I wouldn't say shy, but I used to be much more reserved of a person. And kind of with the growth and everything that I came through in my life and stuff like that, I became much more of a relaxed person, but also kind of like, I don't give a fuck, you know? Like, I don't care, like, what people know about me or, you know, whatever. Or, like, so you guys asking me questions and revealing stuff about my life. Like, I've lived my life. I've done it to the best of my ability. I haven't been perfect, but all I can do is go forward, you know? So, let's turn in the contract, guys. Let's go forward together.